Alright. This is another opportunity we have to explore the very simple principles of coding, and it's really made simple using this beautiful programming language called Scratch. And Scratch comes with an offline editor that makes it so easy and cool to build stuff using blocks. Alright, and the good thing about this is while we're building stuff, we're also learning. Alright, and this is a very good way to introduce children and pretty much anyone to the principles of coding. Once they learn this, then they could go on to learn some real world programming languages. However, we could have fun with Scratch while we learn, right? So we said we were going to move on to a new project, so we're going to do just that. I'm going to click on File and hit the New button. Okay, and it asked me if I want to replace the contents of the current project, and I said okay. Alright, now I need to change the name of my project, or else I will be overwriting the previous one. Alright, so let's give our project a new name. Okay, so we're going to give it a name called Flying Cat. Okay, so we want to create a project, a game really, with our cat that will make our cat fly. Alright, now remember, an animation or a game is really whatever you make it, whatever you make of it. Okay, now what that means is however you get to create an animation, the important thing is that you make it look real, isn't it? Okay, so the name of our game is going to be Flying Cat. Yeah, let's quickly type that up. Okay, it's our Flying Cat game. Okay, so the first challenge will be for us to make the cat actually look like it's flying. Okay, so we're going to be replacing the sprites. We're going to say bye bye. Okay, and we're going to add a new sprite. Okay, and it's still going to be our cat, but this time, okay, let's look under animals. But this time we're going to have our cat flying. Yes, so let's put him at the center of the stage. It will look like he's flying. Okay, so we're going to create that impression like he's flying through the air like Superman. Yes. Alright, now for us to create the atmosphere, remember we talked about creating the atmosphere for our games and animation. We need to give our stage a new backdrop. Okay, so we're going to click here and choose a backdrop for the sky. Okay, so we could use this one, or we could use okay, let's use this one. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, so it's going to look like our cat is flying through the air, and some buildings, some buildings going past it, and maybe birds too flying. Now remember, we want to create an impression, right? So our cat will simply be bobbing up and down, and then we could make other objects be moving, and that will create the impression that our cat is is actually flying. Okay, so in the actual sense, our cat, we should be able to make our cat go up and down with our arrow keys. Okay, now if you didn't watch that, we're going to repeat it in this video, so just stay tuned and you definitely learn that skill. Okay, so we need to have some objects moving in the background to create the impression that our cat is flying. Okay, so those objects are going to move from behind the scene and keep moving that way, so our cat, it gives the impression that our cat is actually flying. Okay, so we have a couple of sprites we're going to add. We're going to look at the flying theme. Let's see, do we have a flying theme here? Okay, so let's look for buildings. So it looks like our cat is flying over buildings. Okay, now if you put your mouse over the buildings, you'll see that there are a couple of costumes. Okay, we call them costumes. So that means this is one sprite. Okay, however, it comes with other costumes. Okay, that means we could animate it. Now, to see the costumes that come with this building, we're going to go to the costumes tab while it's selected. Okay, now can you see all of them? There are 10 costumes, and that's pretty cool. That's going to create the impression that we have different buildings moving across the screen, and our cat is simply flying, alright, through the air. Okay, so what would our buildings be doing? How are we going to make our buildings move? That's the big question. Now, for our buildings to move, you'll notice that they only need to move across the screen. In other words, they need to move in a horizontal fashion. Alright, now if you remember, our x-axis is the horizontal axis, right? So if we could be changing the x coordinates of our buildings really you know, in a loop kind of, then we'll be able to achieve that effect. Alright, so I'm going to select my building sprite, and I'm going to make it move across the screen from, let's say, from the right to the left. Okay, so you know the first block will drop would be that one. Okay, and when the green flag is clicked, then the next block we're going to be dropping would be the forever loop, because that one it's got to repeat. Alright, now we could choose the forever loop if we wanted to continue all through the game, which is really what we want. Okay, now we'll select the forever loop. After selecting the forever loop, we're going to have to set our building's x coordinate to a particular number. Now, the furthest this building can go is the 250 behind this area. Okay, so we're going to set the x coordinate to 250. Okay, that's going to be under the motions block. Alright, so we're going to do just that. We're going to set it to 250. Okay, and we have that there. Now, in the next video, we'll be exploring how to actually go beyond just setting the blocks. to something.